Hello, my name is Laura. I've lost more than 150 pounds with paleo and keto patterns of eating. Sometimes I like to make recipes, so here's one of them. I'm getting ready to make my sausage cheddar breakfast casserole. I call it my Umami bomb breakfast casserole. So I thought I'd make a video because it's really good and it makes me happy. So here's the ingredients. We got a dozen eggs. These are pasture-raised. If you can't afford pasture-raised, that's fine, but they do taste the best. Then a packet of Keto Chow. I use this because I like to eat a high-protein diet. This adds more protein to all of these fatty ingredients, and it has a bunch of umami stuff in there, like yeast extract and etc. A little bit of heavy whipping cream. I really only use a couple of tablespoons, like maybe a fourth cup. A breakfast sausage. This is from a local farm called Seven Sons. It's really good. And this is one of my secrets to an umami bomb breakfast casserole. You have to use really, really aged cheddar cheese. I mean, this isn't like seriously aged, but it's very common. I got it at Walmart. It's so good. And then these are my spices. Optionally to the breakfast the sausage, you can add more poultry seasoning, red pepper flake, and fennel seed if you want to make that part even more flavorful, which I do like to do. And then inside the mix goes this Trader Joe umami seasoning, which I'm sure you can get similar things elsewhere. It's basically mushroom powder and some ground white pepper for a little bit of spice, and organic garlic. And then I have this aged black garlic from Trader Joe as well, just to be fancy, and smoked paprika to sprinkle on top. And there's a lot of salt in like these ingredients, so if that's enough for your casserole, that's fine. I do like to add a little extra. So this is my Redmond salt. This salt cellar was a gift from my brother for Christmas. It's so pretty. All right, and I'll show you the steps of putting it together, although really, once you have all these ingredients, just follow a basic breakfast casserole recipe and it will be good. But yeah. So the first step obviously is to fry up the sausage, and I like to use a wooden kind of spatula with a sharp edge to really break it up. And then here are my extra seasonings, a teaspoon each of poultry seasoning, fennel, and red pepper flake. And that's just what I like. You, of course, can do whatever you want. You can choose not to add extra seasonings. You can add more, you can add less, but that is what I like in my sausage. So, and this is the Keto Chow, and a fourth cup or 60 grams of heavy cream, and a fourth cup or 60 grams of water. And I'm adding my spices, which is a full teaspoon of the umami, and then a half teaspoon of the garlic powder, white pepper, salt, and black garlic. And I will mix that up with the hand mixer, and then I will add the eggs. So that's what that looks like, all mixed up. It's basically like a roux mixture, except I'm not cooking it in a pan with a bunch of butter or fat. I just like how pastured eggs look. I mean, look at those orange yolks. It's so pretty. It makes me happy to see it. There's the egg mixture all whipped up. You really do need to use a mixer of some kind. I've tried to do this with a whisk, and it's just really, really hard to get all the lumps out from the Keto Chow. I mean, it might be even better in a blender, but the hand mixer works just fine. It's just, takes a couple minutes, and then you get this really nice custardy egg mixture. Here's my sausage layer in a 9x13 pan. I did grease the pan first, but I really doubt it makes a difference. There's so much fat in the sausage and in the egg mixture and in the cheese, like, you probably don't need to. I really fried it till it was crispy this time. Oh, look at all that browning. It smells fantastic. Now I'm going to grate my cheese. I do grate my cheese by hand. It only takes a couple minutes. It's really not that hard. Cheddar cheese layer with a little bit reserved to go on top after I pour in the eggs. I pour the egg mixture over slowly so it does leave these kind of like little islands of cheese on top, but then just a little extra for a little bit of a crust. Come on, cheese. This cheese, you can smell this cheese too, especially when you freshly grate it. It's got such a deep, funky cheddar smell to it. Oh, I love it. And then I will sprinkle smoked paprika over the whole thing. If you really want to kick up the umami-ness even more, you can use a truffle powder, or oil. Like, again, I got this at Trader Joe. But honestly, that gets to be a little too much. Like, the kind of artificial truffle flavor in the truffle powder is a little overwhelming. Maybe I'm sure it'd be delicious with real truffles someday. Someday I'm gonna buy a real truffle, and I'm gonna make this casserole, and I'm probably gonna die of just pure umami joy. But smoked paprika is great. Gives it some color, a little bit of flavor, and like just a really, really pretty finish. All right, and this goes into an oven at 350 for half an hour. Obviously, you can mix this recipe up. You can use more cream. You can use half and half. You can use whatever whatever your little heart desires. So I have found with a half cup of liquid being a 1/4 cup heavy cream and a 1/4 cup of water to kind of give the Keto Chow something to mix with. It takes half an hour in the oven. But I have made this recipe for non-keto people with like a cup of heavy cream, and that takes more like 45 minutes. So yeah, just please experiment, play around, have fun. Here it is out of the oven. I'm gonna let it cool for a little bit and then cut it into slices. I like to make 6 pieces, like cut it into thirds this way and then in half that way. It's makes for a big square of breakfast casserole, but you guys, I love it so much. I'm a little disappointed there's some grease on top this time. That doesn't always happen, but I can just blot it with a paper towel. So here's my final piece. I've already eaten a bite, sorry, but you can see that like craggly texture, and it's just a tiny bit crispy, and it's got this really fluffy like frittata texture, and you know, these chunks of sausage and like a little layer of melted cheese, and it is so good. It also keeps really well. You can keep it in the fridge and then heat it in the microwave for like 1.5 minutes, and it's perfect. I haven't tried freezing it, but you could probably do that too. I mean, I see frozen egg bites at the grocery store all the time, which in my opinion, this is far superior. And yeah, it's delicious. It's one of my favorite things lately. I mean, my tastes change, my desires change, my recipes change. This is what I am doing right now. Catch me again in a month and I might be doing something different, but this is so good. One of the best things I've ever made so far.